To begin, we're going to start with week 1 core. We're going to be planning out our levels, also known as level design. Level design is basically when you're just planning out your levels, so where you want certain dangers to be, where you want your players to jump, or where you want your players to win. Just really placing stuff around just so that the players can play how you would want the levels to be played out, essentially. So to start off with, we're going to click on our platform sprite. And at the very top, we're going to click on our costume. You should already see that there's some presets already here for you. These are just to make sure that everything size-wise is correct, but you'll be able to change everything in here. So before we begin, just to make sure, there are these stoppers. So for this level, it's a tree, and for all the other ones, it's kind of like a little pillar. This is just to make sure that the player doesn't go on the other side, since they're able to go around the entire circle. Because the green section of the other side is how they're going to move on to the next level. And if the player has access to that area, then they'll be able to just quickly win. So that's why that's here. But other than that, you can pretty much change anything else that you want. So the first thing you want to plan out are your hazards. So one of the hazards that we have here is our spike. It hasn't been coded yet, but what you need to do is make sure you have your select tool on. Click on copy, then paste. You can go ahead and move this hazard anywhere you want. So I'll move it on this other side right here. Inside of my box, there is this little U shape with 2 arrows. When I click, hold, and drag it, I'm able to now spin and position my spike. If you can see my spike, you can kind of see the bottom half of it, while on the other side you don't see that. When I click on my sprite, all I need to do is click on back, and then it'll push it all the way to the back layer. This way you're not able to see the end of it. You can also put spikes pretty much anywhere you want. So another area I can put it maybe is here. I'm just going to rotate this, push this in, click on back, and I can continue repeating this process until I add all the spikes that I want anywhere in my level. The other thing that I can do is move these mini little platforms that we have. So right now they're separate pieces. So what you can do is you can either use the select tool, make a box on the 2 pieces to move it together, or you can still start out the same way, but then you can click on group, and what that will do is it'll combine everything together. So if you want to move it later on, you don't have to worry about clicking everything together. You'll just be able to move it as one piece. But essentially what you can do is you can move this further down if you want to make this a little bit shorter, and I can move this back. Maybe I want to make this a little bit higher. Maybe a little bit longer. Put that back. So you guys can really pretty much play around with all the levels and heights of everything, so that you can play around with your game. The tree, I can also change it to look however I want. As long as the pillar is there blocking it, it doesn't matter what this section looks like, so you guys can play around with that as well. The last thing that we have as a blocker is this magma. So right now I have this magma right here. It's just essentially a piece that I just drew with the brush tool. All you need to do is you can either shrink it, make it smaller, extend it to make it a little bit longer if that's what you want to do. You can also, this little piece that I have for the platform, you guys can also make it bigger or smaller depending on how hard you want it to be for the player to be able to jump on here to move on to the next section of the platform. So once you're done playing around with the first level, you can move on to the second level and do the same thing too. So adding these spikes, playing around with the lava. If you want to make your game pretty simple, you can also remove this. It doesn't have to be there. You can change level 3. The only difference between level 3 is these yellow ones are to bounce. So these are like little bounce pads. So if you want to add some of these bounce pads in the other level, you can just go ahead and click on the third one. click on it with your select tool, click on copy, and then just paste it anywhere around the level that you want. You can go ahead and do this for every other level. So essentially you're planning where you want your lava to be, where you want your spikes to be, where you want your bounce pads to be, adding platforms, making it shorter, higher, adding other stuff maybe up in the sky that they can jump around to. Essentially whatever you guys want your levels to look like, you guys can go ahead and play around with it and create it.